Hello everyone, and welcome back to Travel Destinations Cinematic, the channel where we count down the world's most beautiful destinations in stunning cinematic style. Today we have another top 10 for you, and today we are heading to a country that has been capturing the imagination of travelers for thousands of years. Let's go! A country where the past is never very far away, Greece, where you can stand in a theater built 2,500 years ago and still hear an echo, walk streets that philosophers once walked, and look out over seas that carried the ships of Homer's heroes. But Greece is also a country of extraordinary natural beauty, of volcanic islands with white-painted villages spilling down cliffsides, of turquoise water so clear you can see the bottom from 20 meters up, of mountain villages that the modern world has barely touched. This is our top 10 of the most beautiful destinations in Greece. Sit back and enjoy the show. Starting our journey at number 10, Thessaloniki. Thessaloniki is Greece's second city. Where Athens can feel overwhelming and tourist-heavy, Thessaloniki has a warmth and ease that is immediately welcoming. The city sits at the head of a long bay in northern Greece, its waterfront promenade stretching for kilometers past Byzantine churches, Ottoman-era markets, and the iconic White Tower that has stood at the water's edge since the 15th century. Thessaloniki is also widely considered the food capital of Greece, and its covered markets, its bougatsa bakeries, and its seafood tavernas along the waterfront make it a genuinely rewarding place to spend a few days. Stepping into the ancient world at number 9, Delphi. For the ancient Greeks, Delphi was the center of the world, the place where the god Apollo spoke through his oracle, and where kings and city-states from across the Mediterranean came to seek guidance before making any important decision. The archaeological site of Delphi sits on the steep southern slopes of Mount Parnassus, looking out over a vast sea of olive trees that stretches down to the Gulf of Corinth far below. The Temple of Apollo and the ancient theater with its beautiful views. The quality of the setting here is remarkable. It is one of those ancient sites where the landscape itself seems to have been chosen deliberately. It's amazing. Arriving on the greenest island in Greece at number 8, Corfu. Corfu is unlike any other Greek island, ruled for centuries by the Venetians, the French, and then the British before finally becoming part of Greece in 1864. Corfu carries those layers of European influence in its architecture, its cuisine, and its landscape in a way that sets it apart from the Aegean Islands to the east. The old town of Corfu is a maze of narrow Venetian alleyways, Italianate mansions, and elegant arcades that feels more like a small Italian city than a Greek island. And the island itself, unusually lush and green for Greece thanks to the rainfall it catches from the Adriatic, is one of the most beautiful in the Mediterranean. Discovering something genuinely special at number 7, Assos on the island of Kefalonia. Assos is the kind of village that travel writers describe as a hidden gem, and for once, the description is accurate. This tiny settlement on the northwest coast of Kefalonia sits at the base of a narrow isthmus connecting a small forested peninsula to the main island. Its colorful houses clustered around a harbor of extraordinary calm and beauty. The water in the bay is a shade of turquoise that seems almost artificially vivid, and the ruins of a Venetian fortress crown the peninsula above, looking out over the Ionian Sea. It is small, quiet, and beautiful. Walking through the medieval world at number 6, Rhodes. Rhodes is the largest of the Dodecanese islands, and its old town is one of the most remarkable pieces of medieval urban fabric anywhere in Europe. The walled city built by the Knights of St. John in the 14th century is so completely and so carefully preserved that walking through its cobblestone streets, past the Palace of the Grand Master, and along the Street of the Knights feels like stepping directly into the Middle Ages. Beyond the old town, Rhodes offers excellent beaches, a dramatic interior of pine-covered mountains and medieval villages, and the ancient site of Kamiros. Rhodes rewards those who go beyond the beach. Finding something truly rare at number 5, Olympos. Olympos is one of the most remarkable villages in all of Greece, and one of the least visited. Perched on a high mountain ridge on the remote island of Karpathos, between Rhodes and Crete, this ancient community of whitewashed windmills and stone houses has preserved a way of life and a set of customs that have largely disappeared everywhere else in Greece. The dialect spoken here contains traces of ancient Greek that have survived nowhere else. The windmills still grind grain as they have for centuries. Olympos is not easy to reach, which is precisely why it has remained so unchanged. It is the closest thing Greece has to a village that time forgot. Arriving at one of Greece's most dramatic coastlines at number 4, Zakynthos. Zakynthos, known to the Venetians as the Flower of the Levant, is an island of striking contrasts. The east coast is developed and lively, with the kind of beach resort infrastructure that draws large numbers of summer visitors. But the west coast is something else entirely. Here, dramatic white limestone cliffs drop straight into water of an almost unreal blue-green color. Sea caves have been carved into the rock by centuries of waves, and the famous Navajo Beach, Shipwreck Beach, lies at the bottom of a sheer cliff accessible only by boat, its rusting wreck sitting on white pebbles surrounded by that extraordinary water. From the clifftop above, the view is one of the most dramatic in all of Greece. Arriving on the largest and most diverse Greek island at number 3, Crete. Crete is not so much an island as a small country, large enough and varied enough to absorb weeks of exploration without ever feeling like you have seen everything. The Palace of Knossos, seat of the ancient Minoan civilization that flourished here 4,000 years ago, is one of the most important archaeological sites in Europe. The old town of Chania, with its Venetian harbor and its lighthouse and its covered market, is among the most beautiful in Greece. And the food? Cretan cuisine is widely considered the finest regional cooking in the country. Crete is generous, varied, and deeply rewarding. Arriving in the cradle of Western civilization at number 2, Athens. Athens is a city that carries a weight of history unlike almost any other on Earth. The Acropolis, rising above the modern city on its rocky hill, the Parthenon still standing after 2,500 years, is one of the most recognizable and most moving sights in the world. But Athens is also a living, breathing city of 4 million people, noisy, creative, contradictory, and full of life. Plaka, the old town at the foot of the rock. The National Archaeological Museum, which contains the finest collection of ancient Greek art on Earth. And the rooftop bars and restaurants where you can eat excellent food while the floodlit Parthenon hangs in the sky above you. Athens at night, from a rooftop, is one of the great city experiences in Europe. And our number 1 destination in Greece, Santorini. Santorini is one of those places where the reality matches the photographs, and that is a rarer thing than it sounds. This ancient volcanic island in the southern Aegean was formed by one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded history, around 3,600 years ago, an event so catastrophic that some historians believe it contributed to the collapse of the Minoan civilization. What remains is a crescent of sheer black and red volcanic cliffs dropping hundreds of meters to a flooded caldera, with the white-painted villages of Phira and Ia perched along the rim. The houses with their blue domes, the narrow-stepped pathways, the views across the caldera to the volcanic islands in its center, and the sunsets above all, have made Santorini one of the most photographed places on Earth. Our number 1. And that is our personal top 10 of the most beautiful destinations in Greece, a country that has been inspiring travelers for longer than almost any other on Earth and shows no signs of stopping. Have you been to Greece? Was there a destination we missed that deserves a place on this list? We would love to hear from you in the comments. A thumbs up really helps the channel grow, and subscribe so you never miss a new video from Travel Destinations Cinematic. Until next time, safe travels everyone!